The night I decided to follow my wife after 24 years of being married, I kept telling myself I was just being silly. I thought my mind was playing tricks because I didn't want to believe what I was feeling. But what I saw in that dark parking lot changed my life forever. It broke every single thing I believed about love, being loyal, and the woman I trusted more than anyone in the world. My name is Daniel Hayes. I am 52 years old. I have always been a quiet man, someone who worked very hard to build a good life from almost nothing. Our roots in our life. For 24 long years, I was married to Laura. She was my sweetheart from college. She was the one who stood by my side when I didn't have much besides a strong heart and a suit I had to borrow for my first job. That suit was a little too big, but she told me I looked like a king. Together, we raised 2 wonderful children, built a beautiful home, and created a bond that I truly thought could never be broken. Small changes and big worries. But then, things started to feel different. It began with tiny things that were hard to notice. There were phone calls late at night that she would only take if she moved to another room. She would close the door softly, thinking I couldn't hear the hushed tones of her voice. She started caring a lot more about how she looked when she left the house, even for simple errands. She bought new dresses that were very pretty and started wearing very expensive perfume that she had never used before in all our years together. It was a sweet scent, like fresh flowers, that filled the hallway and stayed there long after she was gone. At the start, I didn't blame her. I actually blamed myself. I thought that maybe I had become too quiet or too boring as I got older. I worried that I had spent way too much time working at my job, tried to provide for us, and not enough time being a good husband. I felt like I was the reason why things were feeling so strange and cold between us. The night of the truth. Then one Tuesday evening, she told me she was going out to spend time with some friends. When she said it, something in her voice sounded off. It didn't sound right at all. It really lacked the usual warmth and love I knew. So, I did something I never thought a man like me would ever do. I got into my car, and I followed her. I stayed far enough behind so her car lights wouldn't find me. I watched her car make its way slowly across town and finally pull into the parking lot of a quiet restaurant. Seeing the unthinkable, my heart was pounding like a drum as I watched her step out of her car. She looked beautiful in a dress I had never seen before. Then a man appeared. I had never seen him before. He was tall and looked very sure of himself. He was the kind of person who moved through life without any worries. He walked directly toward her, and she smiled at him in a way I hadn't seen in many years. Then he reached out and touched her cheek. It wasn't just a friendly pat. It was close and loving, and she didn't pull away. In that 1 second, 24 years of our life together seemed to turn into nothing. I sat in my car, totally frozen. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white and my hands started to ache. Part of me wanted to jump out of the car right then and there to shout and ask for answers. I wanted to scream, but I stayed completely silent. I watched them walk inside together like 2 people who had done this many times before. Taking the first step, that night, something deep inside of me broke. But something else woke up, too. It was a cold realization. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't fight with her when she finally came home with that sweet perfume still on her skin. I chose to take action instead. The very next morning, I contacted a lawyer. She was a very smart woman named Rebecca Collins. I told her every single detail, every concern, and every bad feeling I had. She didn't seem surprised at all. She simply nodded and said, "If you want to protect your future, we need to move quickly." Uncovering the secrets. And that is exactly what we did. Within just a few days, I had gathered proof with the help of a group of caring experts who know how to find the truth. I had photos that hurt to look at, phone records that showed hours of talking, and many papers about our bank accounts. One by one, every lie Laura had told me began to come apart like an old sweater. It wasn't just about that one single night. This had been happening for many months. The woman I had trusted with my whole life had been living a second life behind my back. So I filed for divorce. But I didn't stop there. Laura had always managed certain bank accounts that we shared. She thought I wasn't paying attention. What she didn't know was that as soon as I felt something was wrong, I started looking at everything very closely. Money had been disappearing from our shared future. Large amounts were being moved in ways that made no sense. Rebecca helped me find the real truth behind the numbers. Laura had been spending our money on him. She bought trips to fancy places, expensive gifts, and hotel stays using our hard-earned savings. The final confrontation, when she was served with the divorce papers, the look on her face was something I will never forget. It was shock and total fear. Beneath that, there was a guilt she could no longer hide. That night, she tried to talk to me. Tears filled her eyes and her voice shook as she said it was just a mistake. That meant nothing. She said she still loved me, but I had heard enough lies to last a lifetime. I saw you, I told her very calmly. I saw everything in that parking lot. All the color drained from her face, and she went silent. Justice in the courtroom. The divorce moved quickly through the system, but it was very hard and painful. The proof I had gathered left no room for excuses or tall tales. In court, the truth was shown to everyone. Her affair, the way she used our money, and her constant lies were exposed for all to see. In the end, she lost far more than she ever expected to. The house we built was sold, and the money was divided mostly in my favor because of what she had done. The bank accounts were fixed after every hidden transaction was found by the experts. Her reputation in our small town was gone. A new kind of peace. But the biggest change wasn't about money or the house. It was the silence that followed. When the papers were finally signed and the dust settled, she was standing all alone. The man she risked everything for disappeared as soon as things got hard and the money stopped flowing. He didn't want her. He wanted the life she was stealing from us. As for me, I walked away with a clear mind. I spent 24 years with someone who threw it all away for a feeling that wasn't real. But I refused to let her choices define who I am today. Now I wake up in a smaller home. It doesn't have the big garden or the long hallway, but it is very honest. It is mine and I am safe here. That wasn't the night I lost my wife. It was the night I found the truth and started to find myself again in this big, wide world. I am learning to be happy again, one quiet day at a time, knowing that I am a man of my word. I am finding peace in simple things, like the warm cup of coffee in my hands and the sound of birds in the morning. Life is different now, but it is real, and that is all I ever wanted. I am standing tall and feeling proud of the man I have become today, and for all the days to come after this one ends.